In the calm and thoughtful setting of a university seminar room, the quiet rustling of papers and the soft murmur of academic discussions created an environment of intellectual curiosity. At a sleek wooden table, two colleagues, Dr. Emily Carter and Dr. James Nguyen, engaged in an insightful conversation about the profound impacts of climate change. The afternoon light filtered through the large windows, casting a gentle glow on their discussion about the latest research, challenges, and strategies to mitigate the effects of climate change on the planet and its inhabitants.
James, the topic of climate change is incredibly urgent and continuously evolving. Despite extensive research and increasing awareness, many people still struggle to grasp the full extent of its impact. Have you noticed any particular issues or trends in our recent studies?
Absolutely, Emily. The challenge of understanding and addressing the various effects of climate change is something many people face. There are still many obstacles. What do you think is the most significant impact of climate change on our environment?
One major challenge is the increasing frequency and severity of extreme weather events. Question: James, in your opinion, what is the most significant impact of climate change on our environment? A. Increasing frequency and severity of extreme weather events. B. Rising sea levels and coastal erosion. C. Loss of biodiversity and ecosystem disruption.
Answer: A. Increasing frequency and severity of extreme weather events.
James, I believe the most significant impact is the increasing frequency and severity of extreme weather events. Option A. These events not only cause immediate damage, but also have long-term effects on communities and ecosystems.
I agree, Emily. Extreme weather events such as hurricanes, droughts, and heat waves are becoming more common and intense, disrupting lives and economies.
Exactly. It's about understanding the broader implications of these events and finding ways to mitigate their impact.
As their conversation continued, Emily and James discussed various strategies and tools that could help mitigate the effects of extreme weather events caused by climate change.
Emily, besides extreme weather events, I think another critical issue is rising sea levels and coastal erosion. Do you think our current efforts are adequate in addressing these challenges? Question: Emily, do you think our current efforts to address rising sea levels and coastal erosion are adequate, or do we need significant improvements? A. The efforts are sufficient but need better implementation. B. Significant improvements are needed to address these challenges effectively. C. A complete overhaul of our efforts is required to ensure long-term solutions.
Answer: B. Significant improvements are needed to address these challenges effectively. James, I think we need significant improvements in our efforts to address rising sea levels and coastal erosion. Option B. These issues require comprehensive and long-term strategies to protect vulnerable coastal areas.
I completely agree, Emily. Building resilient infrastructure and restoring natural barriers like mangroves and wetlands, can help mitigate the impact of rising sea levels.
Right. And it's not just about implementing these solutions, but also about educating communities on the importance of these measures.
They delved deeper into the topic, discussing the need for more robust and sustainable solutions to combat rising sea levels and coastal erosion.
James, another aspect we need to consider is the loss of biodiversity and ecosystem disruption. How do you think we can better support conservation efforts in this regard? Question: James, how do you think we can better support conservation efforts to combat the loss of biodiversity and ecosystem disruption? A. Increasing funding for conservation projects. B. Promoting sustainable land use practices. C. Enhancing public awareness and education on biodiversity.
Answer: C. Enhancing public awareness and education on biodiversity. Emily, I believe enhancing public awareness and education on biodiversity, option C, is crucial. People need to understand the importance of biodiversity and how its loss affects the entire ecosystem.
That's a great point, James. Public awareness and education can drive more support for conservation efforts and sustainable practices.
Exactly. And this also includes engaging local communities in conservation projects to ensure they have a stake in protecting their environment.
They explored various examples of successful conservation efforts and discussed the benefits of enhancing public awareness and education on biodiversity.
Emily, with all these challenges, what do you think is the most important step we can take right now to combat the effects of climate change?
I think the most important step is to start with a comprehensive plan that addresses all these aspects. By integrating strategies to mitigate extreme weather events, protect coastal areas, and promote biodiversity conservation, we can create a more resilient and sustainable future.
I agree, Emily. Empowering people with the right tools and knowledge is crucial. Once we have a solid plan and the necessary support, it will be much easier to implement and sustain other improvements.
As they wrapped up their discussion, Emily and James felt more optimistic about the future of our planet and the potential for positive change through integrated planning, advanced strategies, and supportive education. As the hum of academic discussions continued around them, Emily and James returned to their tasks, feeling inspired by their conversation and hopeful about contributing to a more sustainable and resilient future for our planet. Here are 5 words and phrases related to the theme of impact of climate change.
Extreme weather events. Natural disasters such as hurricanes, droughts, and heat waves that are becoming more frequent and severe due to climate change. Rising sea levels. The increase in global sea levels caused by the melting of ice caps and glaciers, leading to coastal erosion and flooding.
Biodiversity. The variety of life in the world or in a particular habitat or ecosystem which is being threatened by climate change. Conservation efforts. actions taken to protect and preserve the natural environment and its biodiversity.
Sustainable practices. Methods of using resources in a way that meets current needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs.